Flosstube. This is Tara with Woman Crafts. Happy New Year! We're back at home base, as you can see. I guess I want to start off by saying thanks to everyone who gave me a shot last year, and if you're new, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. I know I had big plans to film at the end of December. However, if you watched any of my nice list unboxings, particularly the last week, you can see what an experience it was to try to get even 4 minutes to film those clips in the morning. And I just decided it wasn't worth trying to make it happen in an hour-long setting, as long as these, floss tubes typically go for me. So that is a-okay. I had a great trip home, and I'm very lucky to have parents that are very excited to spend time with me, and my siblings, and we were just all in and out. So it didn't really work out to film there, but that's okay, because we're here now, and you can watch these whenever, you can watch these in pieces, and I'll just upload whenever, because, there's always someone else for you to be watching, and hopefully if you're into it, you have time to come back to watch me, right? So this is going to be a regular floss tube. I'm hoping to I'm hoping to film my finish parade next, and maybe have a whip parade in there as well, because now I've been watching everyone's whip parades, and I only have 9, which I know, it depends on what kind of stitcher you are. For some of my friends, that's way more than they would ever have on the go, but also I know compared to a lot of the floss tube folks, that's way less. Not enough for you to, really sink your teeth into and be stitching for 2 hours too, but anyway, so it might end up being a combo video. I don't know. We'll both see when I get there. But I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. I feel like January for me is such a rough month. I saw a post recently that was I never feel refreshed and ready to go back to work after a holiday. I feel the taste of freedom so fresh in my mouth, and I am less excited about work than ever. And I think that's definitely me in January. It just feels like such a slog to kind of get back into the swing of things, but I think we're getting there, and certainly Flosstube doesn't feel like a slog. It's the rest of life that does, and work. But anyway, in the interest of not keeping you here forever, today I don't have a ton of stitching to show, honestly. I packed a lot to Texas, but of course, travel stitching never goes to plan. I have quite a bit of non-stitchy things to show. And then I think I just kind of want to wax poetic about my goals for the year, because I think, it's interesting. I personally have been finding it fun to set goals and see where I fall when it comes to stitching, at least. I'm not typically a resolutions kind of person. I don't really do that I don't do a lot of metrics in my personal life, but for crafts, I think it's fun. So anyway, to get it moving, we will start with the only finish that I had in the last month, which is actually a start and finish, so it'll be totally new to you, is I did a Mill Hill, get my charm sorted out here, a Mill Hill snow globe. So this is a Christmas tree in the snow globe here, and you can see there's a little tree charm on the bottom. This is my first Mill Hill kit. Like this, I did a Satsuma Street one around Halloween, and that one had some beads and a couple sequins for accents, but these things are loaded with beads, which I knew, but it just takes doing something for the first time, I guess. So I don't know if it'll pick up on the camera very well, but the entire border of the globe is clear beads all along the bottom, and then of course in the tree, all of the gold kind of garland, all the little ornaments are all beads. And I know I kind of talked in my last video that I had a lot of big, Christmas pattern plans, but that kind of fell by the wayside because of the stitch along that started December 1st, which we'll get to. But this one I ended up kind of starting, let me see, I have my notes here, I think on the 20th. And it was nice to have, let me just double check. Yes, December 20th, sorry. Gotta get back into it. I started this December 20th and finished it. It was my last finish of the year. I finished it New Year's Eve, December 31st. And it ended up being really nice, kind of like evening TV stitching with my family while we were watching movies. Because though it's 14 count perforated paper, I believe, so the holes are pretty big and it's light. You know, it's a light background, so it was nice to do that while we were watching TV and stuff. So there is that. And there are instructions to make like the little ornament loop with more of the beads, so that will be another step, but that is done. So that was my only finish since we last saw each other. I did have one start, so we'll move into starts. This one I started December 5th, and I apologize, I got all kinds of junk in here, but this is the Christmas pin pillow from Barrick. So this is what the pattern looks like. Probably one of the most like primitive things I've ever worked on. If you haven't picked up on that yet, I don't really do a whole lot of prim patterns, but I really like this one. So this was a kit in the Black Needle Society Nice List box from last year. And this is where I just really love these little reindeer with their little backwards antlers. Stop it right now. I just love them. So anyways, as far as I got, I started this December 5th. Let me double check. Yeah, hoping that I would alternate with the stamp collection. It really didn't happen. But I do hope, we'll kind of get into plans and stuff, but I think this one, even though it's called a Christmas pin pillow, it doesn't scream super Christmas to me. I accept it as winter, and so I'm hoping to like maybe work on this through the remainder of the winter season. But we got bigger problems we got to go through. But anyway, so again, this was a kit. So this is the called for 36 count. I'll read the back here. Beige linen from Weeks, and the called for threads, which are also Weeks, which are nicely piled in the bottom of the bag here. Don't judge me. But yeah, that one will be really cute. So that was a start. And then I had two whips that you've already seen. Whips are works in progress. So the first one, of course, was the Unplanned Santa stamp collection. So if you watched my unboxing video, I was showing my progress on this nearly daily. Some days I missed. But I did accomplish my goal of on December 25th, I stitched the border for this giant stamp on the bottom. The ecru on this linen is really not going to show up. But you can see it's like from here to here. It's a very, very large stamp compared to the other ones. It's probably equivalent in size to about 4 other of the average size stamps on here. But yeah, so this is the bottom of the piece, and again, you won't see because of the ecru, but the top comes up to about here, and it'll say Santa Stamp Collection. And I got a lot to go on this one. It was very disheartening the last day when I finally like entered this all in, and I was like, okay, yeah, I didn't fill in a lot of them, but like I have to be pretty far, right? And I am, but I didn't quite get 60% done. And that just hurt. That just hurt a little bit because I felt like I was putting so much time in, and to not even have cracked I think I'm at like 59% or something, but like to have not even cracked 60% definitely hurt my feelings a little bit. So this is definitely chilling for a minute. We were very engrossed in that for a while, so that is going to be on the back burner for sure. But pressure's on, because I'm pretty sure they said that they're considering doing another kind of advent or stitch along type release with a nice list box for this year if I choose to purchase that again. So that's something to be on the lookout for. So yes, so that was the whip that you saw last time, and then the only other whip that I had was my Autumn Lane Stitchery. Oh, sorry, before we go on to that, I guess I did say, I did not say this time, I'm using the called for DMC, which I did get confirmation, if you watched my last Flosstube, I did get confirmation from Kathryn Landis, Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society, who is the designer of this pattern, that she did mean to chart 608, the red orange, not 606, the true orange. So if you find yourself having not started this pattern, or I don't know if they're gonna like wait 6 months to release this, I don't exactly know what the schedule is or when they may release this pattern to the public, but that is a misprint on the pattern. And this fabric is a 32 count for Fortnite fabrics, not forbidden. Fortnite fabrics in plush, and is a 32 count linen that came in the box. And then yeah, I'm using all the called for DMC. Okay, so then as I said, my only other whip was my Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and boy are we behind. We are majorly behind. So I'm not gonna take her out of the frame because I gotta keep going. But this whole section on the side was the December release. So I am almost about to be 2 months behind, which I would really prefer to not be. So this is definitely going to be a priority for the rest of the month. But yeah, the tree kind of continues down and up here. There's like flowers and toadstools, mushrooms, like that kind of thing. And similarly, January's release is on the opposite side. It luckily doesn't look as big as this month's, but is still quite a bit of stitching on this side, down on the floor of the earth there. Yeah. So I did purchase again one of the suggested fabrics, which is Under the Sea Fabrics in 32 count Nightshade linen. So loving that, and it looks pretty good, honestly, in this light. I know people have been trouble photographing it, but mine looks pretty okay in this light. You can see some of the brown, the subtle brown modeling, but she's beautiful. But she big. She real big. So I always feel like at the beginning I'm kind of ripping through, but then when I watch it back, it doesn't feel like that. So that's just me. So this is where I would go to plans and haul, but I actually think, just because I want to talk about kind of big plans across all crafts for the year, I'm going to skip over and we'll go to other crafts really quick to show what I've been working on there. And then we'll do kind of a general haul and plans for everything at the end. And then hopefully maybe this will be one of my shorter ones because I still got to do that finish parade. So the first thing I wanted to show is actually not really a craft per se, but it is something that I've wanted to show off, and I owe it to my friend because she was sweet and bought me these patches. So for my birthday, my sister got me this gorgeous, amazing craft bag. It says, I'll show you the front. It looks like Luxja, Luxja. I'll show you on the front. Anyway, to store lots of goodies in, nice little leather straps. I love and you can kind of see there's like, I got bags in here, it's in use, but there's a nice striped detailing. It zips closed, lots of amazing pockets, the works. So, I had commented to a friend that when I saw the Black Needle Society treat box, I believe, they got this like humongous tote bag that had this really cute print on it, and I contemplated buying it, but I was like, I don't need it. I have this bag. This is amazing. So she was like, well, we can zhuzh it up and you can put some patches on. So she bought me these 3 patches that I want to show off here. So we have the Craftaholic patch, of course, the Embroidery Wizard patch, and then of course a big orange chunk for Fozzie. And I really enjoy it. So here, you can read the brand name here, Luxja, it looks like. But yeah, I really love this bag. It, you know, stands completely upright, which is nice. Got tons of pockets inside. Like I said, I have a jam full of stuff. Got this front pocket here. I will say, I don't know if it was the patches or if it's the material of this bag. All kinds of elastics, just lots of great pockets going on here. I'm definitely underutilizing this right now, but I had a heck of a time getting these to iron on. Like I said, I don't know if it's the fabric. This definitely feels like some kind of, you know, almost like upholstery, like maybe a waterproof type or like a spill-proof fabric. So I don't know if that was causing the problem, or I had one of those little tiny irons. I really struggled to get these ironed on, but I love them, and I will get a reminder from her of where she bought these from, because I think they're obviously designed, well, maybe not obviously to everyone, but they are designed to look similar to Girl Scout patches in the US, the Girl Scouts. I was not a Girl Scout myself, but the patches are iconic. What can I say? So there's a lot of them apparently, and I can imagine plenty of you out there who either would love to grab one for yourself or gift them to a friend. So I will put the link for that down below. But thank you to my sweet friend for decking out my bag. Very appreciative, and I love the way it came out. So I filed that under a finish, but it wasn't a project in the first place. So the other start and finish that I had is, if you've watched my past couple videos, you watched me fall in love with the Woobles, which is a, I have this here, a beginner's crochet kit. And while I would not classify myself as a beginner, I'm a sucker for really cute packaging. What can I say? So I'm going to try not to buy a million more of these. However, since it was the holidays, I did tell my sister that I would like this one. This is Andy the Owl. You can see they all have names. And I did finish Andy. So let's see. Sorry, of course. I mean, because what really gets me about these, like I said, is not so much the critters themselves, even though they are quite cute. It's the accessories. It's the freaking accessories. So, this is Andy, and my sister got me the beanie, the little scarf, and hold for this, the little coffee cup. So ridiculous, but I love it so much. So let me undress him here, because Andy has some pretty awesome eyebrows going on here, and oh, I'm excited. The light actually picks up. There's some really minor like embroidered detailing with this light gray yarn, and it's also on the wings, and he's got a little tail. And in person, you almost cannot see that gray at all. So I'm actually very thrilled that you can see it on the camera. But yeah, he was really cute. And I really like this coffee cup. So that was a fun one. And, you know, when my sister was ordering this for me, she also bought herself one, which she's kind of dabbled in knitting and crochet mostly through my my involvement, being like, you're gonna love it, you gotta do it, but does not get the same joy often out of it that I do. So it was fun to have the Woobles together. She worked on Billy the Unicorn, if you are on their website or if you've seen it. So it was really fun to get to work on that together, because there are a few times that we get to do crafts together, because as I said, she is not seemingly get as much joy out of crafting as I do, though I would argue she is totally capable. But anyway, so that was a really fun experience to get to work on that with her. And then we had a trip, we had a little sister trip to the Joann's, because what else do you do? And we stumbled across, so this is gonna fall under, we're moving into starts. We found a Pokemon crochet amigurumi book, and excuse me, I think, you know, I looked at this and I was like, oh dang, they look really good, because I think they're kind of big. I have 2 on the back here. So there's 20 patterns in this book, and yeah, quite frankly, they all look freaking incredible. I'm gonna try to show you. I don't want to expose patterns here. Let's see, like the Snorlax. Are you kidding me? There's some really good ones, and then oh yeah, I love the way Flareon, looks. I'm not gonna take you through the whole book, but anyway, they all look pretty incredible. So I sort of was like, I would make everything in this book. What? The things we say sometimes, does this happen to you? The things I say out loud when I'm slightly excited about anything. Like, I'll make all of these, they're so cute. But girl, what? So everybody put a request in, because of course they did. So my mom requested Gengar, who you can see on the back is big and purple. I also think another thing that makes these amigurumi look quite striking is the facial features, not in this case, but here and like on the characters in the front, it's felt. And I think that provides a really clean look, and I like that a lot. So anyway, so my mom requested Gengar, and so we went back to the Joann's the next day to get supplies. I wanted to do the Snorlax that I showed you, and then my sister wanted Lapras, who is like kind of an aquatic Pokemon if you're not up on your original 150. Let's see if I can, again, try not to show everything off here. Here's Lapras. So I have supplies for those, but I started my mom's Gengar because it was one color. And here it is. So Gengar does not have a face presently, but he does have all of his spikes on and his tail, and he stands really quite well. That tail is doing a great job. I died laughing because there's individual crocheted pieces for like the fingers and the toes, if you can see, and those had to get sewn on. I didn't use the called for yarn because of course it's like, if it's even in stock, you got to order it online. So I found a sparkly purple. So he's a shiny Gengar. If you're all up in your Pokemon, I am not really, but so yeah, these were a lot of spikes to crochet and to sew on, but now we're just down to the face. So I just need the felt, which hopefully I can acquire this weekend. So we're trying to clear things off our plate. So really loving how Gengar is coming out here. I don't know if everything is perfectly aligned to where it was supposed to be, but I'm quite happy with it. I'm having a lot of fun with, I really like Amigurumi. So I like all these little characters, and I like when they have a home to go to, because I don't need these all sitting around. So I was excited that I was like, oh, I'll make all these. And my brother said he would take any Pokemon that I made that I didn't want to hold on to myself. So I'm happy to pass it on. But like I said, my mom's getting this one. Her favorite color is purple, and she liked him. He's nice and squishy. So that's how we're doing with Gengar. So those are the two crochet projects. So the last craft, I actually have a knitting start to show you. So this one I'll show you is from the Star Wars Knitting the Galaxy book. And I just kind of, I had wanted to start this for a while, mostly because I bought this book and I've yet to make anything out of it. And I was like, I gotta do something out of this book. And I had the page marked. Okay, here we go. So I am making for a friend the Starfighter scarf is what this is called. Yep, Starfighter scarf. Which is really cool. I was like, yay, color work. That's fine. That's fun. The problem is this is actually double knit, which I've never done before. And it takes, it takes like 110 CPU of brain power to double knit for me. So you're working on a color chart, which obviously, unfortunately, I cannot show, but you're working on a color chart that tells you like which colors go where, and you're simultaneously working the front and back of the fabric to make it like you're working two pieces of fabric simultaneously. So let me try to, easier to show you, but I'm attached to the yarn. One moment. Okay, here we go. That's the back, sorry. This is the front. So this is my humble start. I think I might end up getting straight needles. I don't know why I started this on double points. It's kind of like the max that it can handle. So it's a little tough to tell with these like alternating on the bottom, but if you pay attention to like this section where there's the 3 white skip, 3 white skip. So this is the front of the work, and simultaneously as you're going along, as I mentioned, you're also working the back of the work in a mirrored way. So you can see here, it's all white as the background, and then there's like 3 dark stitches, 3 dark stitches skip. As I said, it takes a lot of brain power for me personally to work this. This is all the colors. I was excited. I wanted to get up to the green so you could see them all together. So it's only 4 colors. And so as you're going, I mean, there's a lot, I use YouTube videos to figure out how to do this for sure. But when you're reading the chart, like when you're working the front side of the work and you're reading the chart, the color that you're looking at corresponds to the front of what you're working on, right? So if I'm looking at the chart and it's, you know, a row of entirely dark stitches like here, and I'm working on the front of the right side of the work, I know the dark color goes in front every single time and the white goes in back. However, if you're working on the wrong side of the work and you're looking at the picture and you say, okay, on the front side, the entire row needs to be black, you say to yourself, okay, I gotta put the white in the front, the black in the back, because that's the front of the work. You see my problem. Anyway, I did splurge. This is for a friend who, does anyone else like make deals with their loved ones that they're like, if you buy the supplies, I'll make it, because I wanted to make it anyway. So I got these beautiful yarns from Oink Pigments. That's the called for. So, and I'll show you the red in a second, but I'm kind of out of hands here. So I believe the colorways are the Dark Knit Night. If I'm wrong, I will put the correction over here. 3, and this is in their Mystic DK color, or Mystic Base, which is a DK weight. I'm not very good at talking about yarns, I'm sorry. This is 3-leaf clover. This is Birthday Suit, because it's undyed. And then lastly, we have Red Rum, which is the cis color. So absolutely loving that, but it's definitely like, I don't even think I could listen to a podcast while I am doing this, because a lot of it was me being like, green in front, black in back, black in front, green in back. Like, I'm hoping it will get easier over time. The patterns have, you know, some repetition to them, so I think that will definitely help. But anyway, so those are all of the works I have to show you. And now we can talk about, I guess I'll do haul and then we'll do plans last. So we're kind of done with the haul for the other stuff because basically I got that Pokemon book, the crochet book, and then I got the yarns in from Oink Pigments, which is so soft and luscious. And give me one moment here. I'm gonna readjust my legs. Got the yarns from Oink Pigments, yes, and then I have 2 pieces of haul for cross stitch. So the first one, it has disappeared. I had a gift card to Fiberlicious that was burning a hole in my pocket, so I made an order there. So the first thing I got was some tension clips for scroll frames. On my Dark Queen, I haven't really brought it up, and you might have noticed when I was holding it up in the Q-snap, I have the Velcro tape on there for my scroll frame. However, I didn't read the instructions carefully, and you're actually supposed to put it on the front side of the work so you can kind of scroll it in like that. I messed up, and I don't have enough to like move it, and I know that it can be a little bit delicate to remove that stuff. So I don't even know if I could take the Velcro off and apply it on the other side without causing damage to the fabric. So I feel like I'm just kind of stuck with it, which is fine. And I'm not getting great tension on the scroll frame, which I think is a combination of like me being a beginner with it and the Velcro not being on the right side. But I'm hoping maybe adding some tension clips on the side might help, because I don't really mind right now just putting it in my Q-snap. It's not a big deal. But certainly when I'm beading later, I'm going to want to be on the scroll frame. So anything to make that a little bit more enjoyable. So we'll give those a try. So I got those. I also got a piece of 32 count linen in chalkboard. I know that's just kind of called for. I feel like that's one of those like famous pieces of fabric, famous colorways that I just see called for around. So it felt good to just like have a piece on hand. And then the last thing I bought were some threads. So first of all, she gave me some threads, which was so sweet. These are both in the color lilac, and they are the 6-stranded cottons. So I also bought 6-stranded cottons because I was looking for, what I actually had in mind when I picked these out was that, I'll throw a picture up because there's no way anyone's going to know what the heck I'm talking about. The like Salem Sisters pattern that I picked up in September. I wanted a cool black potentially to use for that piece. And so I saw this pack, which contains a black. I'll pull it out for you. And I just kind of love the idea of this because I think with variegateds, as beautiful as it is to look with something that has like a really wide difference between colors in a single variegated floss, it can be harder to like pick out a use for it. So I love the idea, even though these are a little bit more dramatic than I thought they would be. I thought it would be cool to purchase these kind of more tonals and keep them around as like fancy flosses. So they're not very like unique names, not like to drag anybody, but so this is shades of brown, shades of gold, shades of orange. Ooh, that's good. Shades of, pardon? I think maybe I had a little flip-flop. So this is labeled shades of purple, but I believe this is red. This is shades of red, I'm assuming, because this one is labeled shades of red, and I would call that purple. Little flip-flop, shades of pink, shades of blue, ooh, that's good, shades of green. I know I'm gonna get use out of this one. Ooh, honestly, it looks even brighter on camera, I will say. It's not quite this electric in person. And then finally, shades of black. So I really quite like these. I think I will get some good use out of them. So that was a very fun order to receive. And this is, again, the 6-stranded cotton, but this is in, this is 10 yards from Fiberlicious. Yummy fibers. Yummy indeed. So those, that was really nice to get. Those came like right before I left town. So I really haven't messed with them at all. And then the last piece of haul I have is my Last Bird Crush Club with Lindy Stitches. I am so behind, but our last bird was the red-faced warbler. And here's the stitch. I was laughing. I feel like the way the top of his head is, he almost looks like the Beatles. He looks like an early 60s Paul McCartney to me. Is it just me? And here's the threadworks with that, which is showing up just absolutely neon here. The color is bright red. I don't know if putting it against something will cool it. Nope. I mean, it kind of is that bright. It really kind of is that bright. So that's a gorgeous one to end things off on. And then there was a surprise in the last package as well. We got a bonus pattern. I believe these are for people who were in the club all year. So I don't know what the situation was, if you maybe like started in February. I don't know. The way I screamed. So we got this pattern, Armchair Ornithologist, which if you look closely, features all 12 of the birds. So we've got our black-bellied whistling duck, our owl, I'm not gonna remember all the names off the top of my head, the Lewis's woodpecker, help me, the Steller's jay, the western meadowlark, maybe lazuli bunting. See how many of them I can remember off the top of my head. Oh wait, no, this one's the western meadowlark. Anyway, I love this. I want it. I feel like this is totally changing this might totally change how I want to end up displaying these, because I wanted everything in a hexagonal frame and to cluster them together, but now I'm like, do I need a centerpiece to the cluster? I don't know, but I don't really want to put off hanging things. Anyway, that's a problem for another day, but I love this pattern. I definitely want to stitch it. Definitely want to stitch it when I have gotten everything else done. So anyway, that concludes all of the haul, all of the whips, all of the starts, and the handful of finishes. And lastly, I guess I just want to share some plans. So, and kind of some like big year plans, and some not so big year plans. So as I've mentioned a couple times, I think at this point, I am going to film a finish parade, which may have a whip parade tacked on at the end, which I guess reminds me that I've never really said, I try to put timestamps on the videos. I don't know if you ever like hover over the like play bar on my videos, they should be segmented, and I try to chop them up because, again, there's a lot of people to watch out there. So if there's something in particular that interests you or something, or, you know, if you're invested in one project and, you know, whatever the deal may be, you are welcome to just skip right on ahead and jump to whatever part is most interesting to you. So if there is a whip parade and you're more interested in that than the finish parade, there will be timestamps at the bottom and you can just cut right to wherever that whip parade starts. So yeah, highly encourage you to use that feature. I try to include those because I know I appreciate it when I see it on other people's videos. Especially not even so much for the first watch through, but if I remember I saw something on someone's video and then it's like an hour long and you're like, I don't remember when in the video she talked about the thing that I wanted to know about. So I'm a big fan of timestamps. And hopefully they're useful to you as well. So anyway, moving along, want to do that. I think for other stitching goals, I want to catch up and stay with my Dark Queen. It's a lot of stitches and we cannot be falling behind here. We cannot be falling behind. So as I said, I think this upcoming weekend is 24 hours of cross stitch, which I've never actually participated in, but I think this might be the weekend to participate in 24 hours of cross stitch because that's about how many hours I need to catch up, I think. Give or take. So keeping on playing Dark Queen is a big goal for the year. It will end in August, so that's like a good chunk of the year goal. Another big goal, but I'm gonna manifest it by putting it out there, is I think I would like to attempt to reach 10% on my Heaven and Earth designs, which I'm sure you've seen. I don't know if this is going to happen. I am still, right now, there's so much black around the edges of the piece that I think I'm just going to kind of keep cranking on working the 310 as long as it's sort of like reasonable. I see there's a lot of techniques to work a Haid. I'm sure I'll get into it in another video, but I'm still figuring out what way works for me. But I've certainly seen people in like the Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook group do color completion, especially on pieces with lots of black around the edges like this one. So I think that's the goal for now. And then I don't have to get too lost in the weeds of changing 1,000 colors because it's 200 colors. If you recall, I got the max colors. So yeah, I think that's kind of my approach that I'm thinking of for now, is we'll just kind of keep going with the black as long as we can avoid all those colors. But we'll see. If I could get to 10%, that would be great. And while that seems like so much, if I don't even, if I do 10% every year, that's 10 years of stitching on that piece. So if I can't make it to 10% in a year, that's going to be something I have to sit with. So anyway, so I'd like to reach 10% on my Haid. I think I would like to finish my Twisted Rainbow sampler. I think the big theme for this year is I was looking through my finishes, and this past year I started and finished quite a lot of like pretty small things, as in neither the height nor the width exceeded 100 stitches in either direction for every single thing I finished except for one. And even that one was still not very big. So I had a lot of like starts and finishes, and that was really fun. But I think this year I'm not going for quantity of finishes so much. I want to just make big strides in these bigger pieces, because I am at 9 whips, like I said, but most of those are much bigger than the things I've finished in the past year. I did not have like one big finish in 2022, so keeping that in mind. So I would like to maybe finish my Twisted Rainbow sampler, and I hope to do that through, it's a great segue, through Stitch for Pride, which this year is a year-long event, which I love. So I didn't really post about it, but like I participated in Stitch for Pride last year, hosted by D's 20 Stitches here on YouTube and Instagram. I participated in their challenge last year and made it over halfway through the month. I still have some things remaining. But as you know, they say there's not a deadline on any of this, but obviously, you want to get the learning done at some point. So this year, Stitch for Pride is a year-long challenge, which is great because we're over halfway through January and I have not done any of January's prompts yet. But that's okay. It's okay. So as long as the effort is there, it's good. It's good. So I think what I'm going to do, because ultimately, I was just like wrapping up Dee's video before I sat down to film. You know, it's not really about the stitching. It's about the learning and the activism, right? So I think in my mind, I think regardless of the prompt, I'm going to work on my Twisted Rainbow sampler as like the stitching piece when I've done whatever my Stitch for Pride challenge is, and that will be a good way to like get that out at least once a month. So that is sort of the plan there, I believe. And I will, again, have links to Dee's channel, to the video, where you can check out Stitch for Pride yourself. There's a sticker sheet this year, so I'm going to try to print that out. And I think, yeah, once a month is going to be great. I think it's going to be great because I really tried in June last year, and yeah, you know, things get busy. 30 days of doing anything is pretty hard. Especially from like a stitching challenge and, you know, reading and activism and all that. That's a lot. So I think going to a year format is really excellent, and do it all year. I love it. So that's something else to accomplish before the end of the month. We've got to catch up with the Dark Queen, and we got to get our Stitch for Pride done. And then just looking at my notes here, other goals, I want to put some time into organization of my craft supplies. Right now I'm pretty much working out of like a 3-tiered cart from Michael's, the wider one, not the small one that everyone has. Get real. One of the wider carts. But all of my fabric is just kind of sitting on the bottom. It's not a great way to see it. And so I think I would like to put some effort into reorganizing my fabric in a way that I can see it better. I'm pretty on top of, like, I have my DMC cataloged with like the Lord Libidin Google Sheets file. And I have my like works in progress like in Excels that I've definitely ripped from other, like gotten the idea from other Flosstubers, certainly not an original idea. But I was talking to an Instagram friend that I met at the Summer and Stars Hollow retreat last year. Her name is Rose. She is Crafts with Potato on Instagram, and she shared templates for a program called Notion, which I had never heard of. And these templates are for a lot of things, like all your crafty things, but I'm particularly interested in it for my specialty floss, because that is something right now that I don't have a great way. I kind of tried to write down in my, you know, I made a new sheet on like the DMC sheet and tried to write it down, but it's just not really, it's not really working for me. So she is willing to share those, and I'm hoping to try that out. I don't have the files yet, or the templates yet, but I'm hoping to like make use of more of my fancy floss this year, because it's gorgeous, but it's hard when it's not like in an easily visible way to just say like, oh, let me swap like this brown for this other brown, you know. Anyway, organization I think is a great goal for the year. And then again, kind of refocusing on like, I want to focus on things that I have. Right now I don't have any like burning starts that I want to get going, so I'm grateful for that. And we're going to lean into that as long as it happens, because I am sure something fantastic is going to come out. So I do really want to get back on Bird Crush. I want to finish all the birds. I have completed 7 as of now. I have not even started the 8th, but so I have 5 more birds to go, plus this pattern, which I'm not as pressed to like get this one done this year, but would like to get done. So I'd like to finish all the birds for sure. And then I think it may be the year of off-season stitching. I think, you know, this past fall and winter, I really enjoyed getting a lot of autumnal and Halloween and winter and Christmas stuff going. But it just all blows by so fast. So I think I may be working on some stuff out of season, just because right now, as far as patterns that I do want to work on and like things that I am like, I know I just said I don't have a burning desire to start anything, but of the things that I do think about starting, most of them still are either those Christmas patterns I didn't get around to, or like the Halloween patterns I didn't get around to. And quite a few of those are not very big, so it's all a balance. But like I said, plans are meant to be changed, meant to flex, meant to adapt. But this is me putting intent out there, hopes, dreams for me and my craft this year. So if you have any personal resolutions, stitchy resolutions, feel free to put them out there with me in the comments. I am double checking that I had nothing else I wanted to share. I think that's it. But yeah, I'm really happy to be back filming, to be back in my home space. You know, being around family is wonderful, of course, but you know, it's always an adjustment. So it's good to be home, good to be back to the space, back to my stash, and yeah, just looking forward to a great year of stitching. So look out for that finish parade. I don't know if I'm gonna film it tonight, but we'll see. We will see. Just trying to balance all the stuff that I want to do and get stitching done. And I really fell into, over the holidays, video games. Like it's a balance, because like I definitely was in like an Animal Crossing hole for 2020 and stuff, and a lot of 2021 to be quite frank. But I bought Breath of the Wild, which is like the Zelda game, and I feel like I avoided buying it because I was like, I'm not a real gamer, I can't play that game, but it has been so fun and I want to play it more. And now that I'm invested, there's like a new Zelda game. I'm going completely off tangent, y'all. I'm so sorry. Off topic. The new Zelda game for Switch is coming out in a bit, and you know, I mentioned to a bunch of friends that I was playing the game, and they had all played it, you know, years ago when it came out. I'm so late to the game. But yeah, so they're all excited for the new game. So now I'm like, I gotta get through this so I can play with them, but everything in your own time, right? So I've been enjoying playing that, and Spiritfarer is another one that's been really sweet to play. But yeah, those are the things that have been eating up my time. I don't think I have anything else for you. I'm trying to figure out how to like wrap this up. I will show you one more thing. If you're here this long, I'm sorry, you should have bailed. But I did make my 2023 ornament, my ornament with my orts, which I store in a jar throughout the year. So happy with that. It's just fun to like I can tell this is like the stamp collection section here. Of course, it's gonna glare really bad. And I even got my little like needlepoint threads in there. So cool. And again, you're probably not going to see it, but I do have 2022 written on there in paint pen. But I like that it's not super obvious, because it's supposed to be about the threads, not about the writing. So with that, I need to take my Christmas decorations down and get to all the stitching, because time's a ticking. I hope, again, that you all had a lovely holiday season, that you're taking it easy in January. Like I said, it is rough, and it doesn't help that it's like gloomy, and then you got to take all your, you know, holiday decorations down, and then things look sad and barren. Is that just me? So yeah, take it easy on yourself. It's rough getting back to it, but hopefully you were able to get some stitching done or cleaning or, you know, whatever while you were listening to this. And I will see you soon in my finish parade. Bye!